Hey everyone, so I had originally planned to make two separate videos with a kind of linked theme between them. That is the deck, which is Red Hybrid. I was going to upload a standard Red Hybrid build and an AncientGreymon build, so I figured why not make them into one video, get the watch time up. So I pre-recorded the Red Hybrid one, and this is it. So I've kind of lost my voice. It's very annoying, but I've been playing about with Red Hybrids lately, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. Added some new things for the BT14 format, which I think you might like to see. So let's just jump into it. So for the eggs, we've got the first change for the new Koromon. It's really good. Better than the Ukkomon. When a card is removed from your opponent's security stack, draw one. This gets very strong. I'm also going to run one more Ukkomon, but I haven't been able to find it yet. I'm still looking for it in my collection, but whenever I go to play this deck, I will have one Ukkomon as well. Now for the rookies, we've got two Bokomon, classic. On play, search top 5, add a tamer and a hybrid, and then when a tamer digivolves, gain 2 memory. This guy usually gets sniped before he's able to be useful, but the search is quite nice. It's good to get your pieces. We got 2 BT4 Flamemon. On play, reveal the top 3, add a tamer and a hybrid to your hand. It's quite good. I don't think it's as good as the other Flamemon. Merely because it doesn't have the inherited. It lets you free play Takuya, so he doesn't really continue your plays when he dies, so that's why I've only got him at 2, but he's still very good. Speaking of the other Flamemon, we have got 4 BT7 Flamemon. On play, reveal the top 4, add a hybrid, Agunimon or Takuya. Ideally you want this more for its inherited effect. On deletion you can play a Takuya. But sometimes it's nice to get the search, although if I'm between these two for the actual search, I'll typically go with this one. But either's good. We've got 4 BT12 Flamemon. So on play you can discard a hybrid to draw 2, which is good for cycling, getting more card draws, and getting hybrids in the trash for your Emperor plays. Good alright, and inherited as hybrid or 10 warriors gets plus 2k. Pretty solid effect, I find. Comes up useful whenever you're building an Emperor stack and you want ridiculous DP numbers. Can't complain. And our last rookie, which I'm still not entirely certain about ratio-wise, but we're playing about with it. 4 Ukkomon. This card is a beast. It's white, but it can digivolve over any color egg. Whenever one of your Digimon moves from the raiding area to the battle area, you get to hatch a new egg and gain a memory. This just lets you pop off really, really quickly in a deck that's famous for popping off really quickly. So this just lets you turbo into your plays, and it gets a bit ridiculous sometimes if you get them in your opener. So you can get that fast early aggression, just chip away your opponent's security, and yeah, you can, if you see this in your opener, you can usually get the game done very quickly. Then for our champions, we've got our standard hybrid package. We've got 4 BT12 Agunimon. So you can digivolve them over a Takuya for 2. On deletion, you can play Flamemon from your hand. And inherited, on deletion, you can play a Takuya from your hand. Good to keep your plays going when he dies. Good to get your Takuyas out for free. And just keep cycling that way. 4 BT7 BurningGreymon. On Digivolve, you can delete a 4k or less. Solid enough. Digivolves over a Takuya for 2. Yeah, he's fine. Probably the weakest link, I'd say, because he doesn't have an inheritable, but he's fine for what he is. And then 4 BT12 BurningGreymon. This card is the one that I love to see, because it gives you so much DP. When Digivolving gains plus 2k, and inherited gets plus 2k. So this gives you plus 4k if it's in your stack. You digivolve into this, you digivolve over it and do an Aldamon, that's a plus 8k bonus. On top of its base 8k plus your Takuya's plus 2. For 3 memory, you can go from a tamer to an 18k attacker. very good card. Again, Digivolves over a Takuya for 2. And for our ultimates, we've only got 4 for Aldamon. When one of your Digimon with Tamer Digivolves into it, reduce the cost by 2. So you can run this for 1 cost, and if it has a hybrid in its traits, in its Digivolution cards, it gets plus 4k, which is very good. And inherited, it doesn't activate security effects on the option cards, so this can get really good around some of the annoying security bombs that you'll find in this format, like DCD bomb for example. And it's just a very, very good card. I did try the other Aldamon, but no, this guy is the one you want to see. And for our megas, we've got 1 BT7 EmperorGreymon. He's useful when you need blitz for game, but I find he's not that good apart from that. A 4 cost Evo means you're probably going to be passing turn if you go into him. Whenever he's blocked, you gain a memory for every hybrid he has in his sources, which is fine. If you're swinging with this, you're probably trying to close out a game anyway. So, you know, it'll give you enough memory to do something else, but it's not something I rely on. I don't think this card's very good. A card that is very good, though, is 4 BT12 EmperorGreymon. This card is Security Tag +1. When Digivolving, you can delete a 6k or less, but if you have a Tamer on his sources, he deletes them with less DP than himself, which, spoiler alert, is going to be more or less anything in the game with how high his DP goes. And on deletion, you can play a Takuya from hand or trash, so it lets you recycle. Especially if you've got the warp under him with 5 sources. He dies, you play the warp back out, tuck the 5 sources, go to another Emperor, and he just lets you loop like that. He's very good. And then for 7s, Blitz Omni. Need I say more? Then we've got for the Tamers, 4 Warp Takuya. So he plays himself out of security, and you can place 5 hybrids under him from your trash to Digivolve him into an Emperor for its cost. And that's another reason why the BT12 Emperor is better, because he costs 3 to Digivolve, so you're probably not going to pass turn with this, especially with the amount of Ace Digimon running around right now. If you delete something that's an Ace or has an Ace in its stack, you're going to gain that 3 memory back anyway. So you can effectively do that for free, which I've done a couple of times and it feels really good. And inherited, he gets plus 2k, and if he has 10k or more, which he likely will, gets security attack +1. Good card all around. And then we've got 4 memory setter Takuyas from BT12. I still need to get the Alterous for these. So he's a memory setter, and inherited, he gets plus 2k, and when he checks security, he gains 2 memory if he's 10k or more. I don't think he's quite as good as this one, but you can definitely enable some crazy things. Lastly, for our options, we've got 2 Atomic Inferno. So one of your hybrids gets plus 3k plus security, and if it gets blocked, gain 3 memory, which is crazy for 1 memory. I'll take that. And in security, gives you a board-wide security attack +1, which is also incredibly strong because it affects the entire board. So if you have any Tamers, you hybrid those, so they still get that effect. And 2 Gravity Crush. Gain 2 memory, end of turn, lose 2 memory. If you're going into this, you're probably going to be finishing the game out in that turn. So the lose 2 memory doesn't always sting that bad. And even if it does, if you can get your opponent to 1 memory and they gain the 2, if they have a memory setter, they're going to go to 3 anyway. So I find you can play around it like that. So leave your thoughts in the comments below for my red hybrid list, and this is now my AncientGreymon OTK list. So for the eggs, we're gonna 4 Demi-Meramon. When attacking, if it attacks a player, you get plus 1000 DP for the turn. I'm never sure what egg to run with this deck because none of them are really that good. I find that with card draw, whenever you're attacking from the raise, you're typically attacking for game anyway, so the card draw is not that valuable. So I'm just going with this, even though it doesn't really need the extra 1000 DP. But I might switch this over to the BT14 Koromon or something. Not sure yet, but we'll see how it plays. Next up for the rookies, we've got 4 BT4 Flamemon. Reveal the top 3, add a hybrid and a tamer to your hand. Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm not sure between this and the BT7 one which one's better, because this one potentially lets you take 2, whereas the other one searches top 4 instead of top 3. Kind of a trade-off. I like having this one more, personally, but it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Or rather, 4 of one, 2 of the other, if we're going by the actual ratios. And we've got a card that wasn't present in my regular red hybrid list. 4 BT6 Flamemon. This is kind of the one you want to see for your stack in the raise. It gives piercing to anything above it with hybrid or 10 warriors in its traits, which AncientGreymon is a 10 warriors Digimon. So we definitely like to see that. And as I mentioned, we've got 2 BT7 Flamemon. Might swap these to be 3 and 3, but again, gets you a search. Has non-deletion inherited. That's not really relevant because we don't run a Takuya in this build, so it doesn't really matter too much. And 4 BT12 Flamemon. I really like this card. On play, you can trash a hybrid to draw 2. So it gets you going into your deck, picking up more and more pieces. Because the problem with AncientGreymon is that it's not easy to search. So definitely good to get that card draw. And inherited if it has hybrid or 10 warriors, it gets plus 2k. If you can't find your piercing Flamemon, this does pretty well. And then on to the champions, we have got 4 promo Agunimon. So when attacking, it can digivolve into an AncientGreymon for a cost of 2 and delete itself at the end of the turn. You sometimes want to do this. Typically, you want to just keep this in the raise. But sometimes it does call for it. If your opponent's popping off too early, you want to get some aggressive swings in. This can be valuable. Uninherited, when digivolving into an AncientGreymon, you can reduce the digivolution cost by 2. This is really good if you combine it with the red training option. Lets you go directly into AncientGreymon for 1 cost. Pretty nutty. And for our other champion, 4 BT12 BurningGreymon. I used to run the old BurningGreymon, but this one is better because it gives you plus 2k in inherited sources. So, yeah, it's pretty good. And then for our ultimates, we've got 4 copies of Aldamon. This is the one you really want to see. It's got when digivolving effect, but it's not super relevant most of the time. It can be when it comes up. It gets plus 4k if there's a hybrid in its traits and its sources, which there will be. But the inherited is sort of the main part, which is that it disables option cards in security. And when you're swinging in with your AncientGreymon for 5 checks, just having that extra bit of protection really works wonders. And then we've got 3 BT5 MetalGreymon Alterous mode. Not sure about this card. It's in there basically if you don't find a BurningGreymon, you want 1 more source. You can digivolve this over Aldamon for 1 cost. You can digivolve it over itself. And similarly to the BurningGreymon, it gives you plus 2k in the sources. So it gets you your DP up nice and beefy. Not entirely sure about it, but playing about with it and we'll see what happens. And for our megas, this shouldn't be too surprising. 4 AncientGreymon. During your turn, for every hybrid or Greymon in this card's sources, it gets security attack plus 1. So this can swing for a lot of checks at once. And on deletion, you can play a red level 4 hybrid from your hand without paying the cost. Sometimes comes up. Most of the time, you'll just be swinging with this and then finishing out the game. Yeah, both very good effects. Cost 5 to digivolve, but with your promo Agunimon and your red training option, that becomes a lot easier to manage. And speaking of finishing out the game, how do we do that? 2 Blitz Omni. When digivolving Blitz, when digivolving on Suspend, if it would be removed, you can trash a level 6 to prevent it. We all know what this card does by now. It's been around since BT5. Yeah, any sort of red, big OTK deck, you'll want to be running this. Then we've got a new addition that I'm trying out. I used to run Hero as the memory setter to get the DP up, but because we've got the new BurningGreymon and the new Flamemon, I find that the 2k buff isn't as necessary. So we're running 3 Tai. This can help us really get an extra check and extra 2 checks. So that way if our stack's not ideal, we can still get the 5 checks off the Ancient. And yeah, he's just a really good tamer. Has been since BT1. And for our options, this is probably where it'll vary the most between what I have now and what I'm going to decide on at the end. But anyone that sort of plays purple, go wide decks, please avert your eyes for Crimson Blaze. This card is crazy in the current meta. Just deletes everything 6k or less and prevents the opponent from playing Digimon by effects, which stops Fenrir, stops D-Brigade. If you get rid of the Plesiomon, this can stop you from playing out the Gomamon from underneath it. It is a really good card to see. And even in hand, it reduces its cost by 1 for every Digimon your opponent has, so it can get really cheap and just remove a lot of things. So I love having this card at 4. Then we've got for offense training. This card is pretty broken. Reveal the top 2 cards of your deck, add a red card among them to your hand, place the rest on the bottom, and then put this in the battle area. So this helps you to search out your AncientGreymon. In this slot I used to run Analog Youth, but I'm thinking this is probably better. And you can delete this to Digivolve into a red Digimon with the cost reduced by 2. So you'll raise your Aldamon, pop this, reduce it by 2, Agunimon effect, reduce it by 2, and then go into your AncientGreymon for 1 cost. Pretty sweet. And then lastly, similar to offense training, for red memory boost, you want to be digging, you want to be finding your pieces as much as you can, and the memory boosts are still great for that. So you reveal the top 4, add a red Digimon to your hand, place the rest on the bottom. And then delay, sacrifice it, gain 2 memory. This is great for finding your pieces, and then whenever you're making your big swing turn, if you need any more memory, say you haven't found the promo Aguni, pop this, go into your Ancient, fire it off. And that is both of the lists. If you have any recommendations in the comments for either one, please leave them in the comments below. See you guys.